Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Mancoll Minute, and welcome to 2021. I hope you all had a great new year, and the year's starting off in a fantastic fashion. We continue to get a lot of really great questions, and in case folks don't realize it, when you come in for a consult with me, and the one I'm going to talk about today is about breast, I cover a lot of the questions I get as part of that consult because I feel really strongly it's important for you to be educated on what you're getting ready to do. Understanding both the short-term and the long-term sort of requirements. So today's question was about when do I need to get my silicone implants replaced? And that's something I cover with all my patients because I think there's a lot of misinformation or sort of information out there that makes it seem like you have to do it, where they're one of those, well, in an ideal world you would do this. And the example in silicone implants is, if you look at the literature that comes with it, and if you look at the FDA requirements, you'd almost be under the impression you have to get an MRI every 3 years, because that was one of the original requirements they tried to put in when they came back on the market in 2006. But the reality is there's no requirement to have to do an MRI or to have to remove a silicone implant at any given time, simply because it's been 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years since you had them put in. For better or for worse, all man-made devices tend to break down, and implants are no different. The FDA data stated rate of implants breaking down or need to be replaced, or ruptured is the term that's used, is about 8% roughly at 10 years. And traditionally, when you look at all the different types of implants we've had, that number will increase with every passing decade, and theoretically could even double by the next decade or so, depending on which study you look at and so on. But what I tell women is this, is your breasts are going to have a certain feel after about a year, okay? Hopefully you'll be in the 90+% where they have that nice soft feel. You hardly know they're inside a scar capsule or anything like that. But for those folks, what typically I ask them when they come back going, I'm kind of worried about my implant, and we say, why are you worried about it? Patients that have ruptured implants will typically tell me they felt one way, and then they started feeling over time a little tighter and a little more uncomfortable, and then they started getting distorted. So as that bag that holds that gel in has sort of broken down, the gel inside has kind of stimulated the lining to make more scar, or the body to wall it off. That's kind of the change that happens, and when they're in long enough, you can actually get some calcification, which you might see on your mammogram. So when I go to take them out, I kind of jokingly say I'm going to get some dinosaur eggs out, because they almost have a feel of an egg, like an eggshell. But for the vast majority of women, when they are told they have a rupture, it's almost an incidental finding on an MRI, or excuse me, a mammogram they're getting, just because they were due for a mammogram. And the other misnomer is that, well, I had a mammogram and they kind of crushed my breast in the device and then it ruptured my implant. And I'm willing to bet that the mammogram didn't crush your device and rupture it, but it might have loosened the scar up a little bit, and then that's what brought it to attention, and the report came back, possible rupture. So I think what the result of that was is misinterpreted a lot. So to get back to the question, which was, when should I have my implants replaced, is when they're bothering you, when they don't seem to feel like they used to feel, when they're distorted or harder than you remember, or if you just have an incidental finding because you had a mammogram or a CT scan or an MRI of your chest that was part of another routine follow-up, and the radiologist said, oh, by the way, those implants may be ruptured. Keep in mind, a mammogram is only about 50% accurate in determining implant rupture versus not, and an MRI, the best we have, is only about 85%. So there's no 100% test short of opening things up and looking. But it's one of those things I tend to encourage women to say, listen, I wouldn't have it be something that preoccupies you every day, or my breast is it, today's the day. I mean, at some point, God willing, you live long enough, you'll outlive your implants, and then you will address what to do with it at that time. But they really should last most women decades of just great use, safe use, and sort of fulfill all of the desires a woman has when they come in saying, I'm unhappy with my breasts, and implants, I think, are the answer for what I'm looking for. So hopefully that's some information that can help you. If you have any questions about it, or if you're in a situation where you have old implants and you're not sure what you should do about it, I'm more than happy to see you. Come on in, call the office. Teresa will help set up an appointment for you. And we can kind of discuss your implants, where they are at this stage in your life, and what we might want to consider doing. With that said, have a great weekend and a great 2010. or 2021. Bye.